Let's talk about The Fly. Not the David Cronenberg movie, though the homage is intentional, but the newest nightmare to enter the alien universe in Noah Hawley's Alien Earth. This isn't just another monster. It's a calculated, brilliantly designed threat that changes the rules of the game entirely. In a facility full of perfect organisms and psychic eyeball aliens, The Fly might just be the most dangerous thing in the room, and everyone is completely underestimating it. We first got a glimpse of it in the very first episode, hiding in the background of the USCSS Maginot's cargo hold, almost like set dressing. It was easy to miss, just a weird, hornet's nest-like structure tucked away in the corner. That was a classic Hawley misdirection, because in episode 6, appropriately titled The Fly, this thing steps into the spotlight and delivers one of the most gruesome and significant deaths of the season, the end of Toodles, or Isaac, the hybrid played by Kit Young. So what is it? Let's break down its capabilities, because they are terrifyingly specific. 1. The Metal-Devourer. This is the big one. Unlike every other alien in the franchise that we've seen, which targets living, organic flesh, The Fly has a completely different diet. It consumes metal and synthetic material. We see Smee feeding it a tray of metallic objects like junk tech and metallic ore. This isn't a random detail. It's a deliberate, terrifying design choice. In a story filled with androids and human-machine hybrids, The Fly is the ultimate countermeasure. It's a predator designed to hunt the hunters. Its method of feeding is equally horrifying. It doesn't bite or claw. It spits a highly corrosive acidic gel that liquefies its target, in Toodles' case, melting his synthetic face and body. And then it uses a hose-like proboscis to suck up the metallic slurry. It's a grotesque inversion of how a common earth fly eats, but scaled up to a horror movie level.
2. Acidic projectile. The acid it spits is potent enough to melt through a hybrid's body in seconds. These hybrids are supposed to be incredibly resilient, the next step in human evolution, encased in a powerful synthetic shell. The Fly treats them like a soft-serve ice cream cone. This acid is clearly different from xenomorph blood, which is also acidic but seems to be a defensive mechanism. For The Fly, the acid is its primary offensive weapon, its tool for feeding. 3. Colonial hive mind. The Fly doesn't operate alone. We see multiple individuals emerging from a central hive. This suggests a colonial or hive-minded intelligence. They might not be individually smart like the Ocellus, but they operate as a collective unit, which makes them incredibly efficient and dangerous. They are a swarm, and a swarm is much harder to stop than a single creature. Now, this leads us to the million-dollar question that everyone is asking. If this thing is so powerful, if its acid can melt through a hyper-advanced hybrid so easily, why didn't it just melt its way out of its cage days ago? This is where the show gets really clever, and it's not a plot hole, it's a feature. The most logical answer is that its enclosure was specifically engineered to contain it. Prodigy Corporation, for all its arrogance, isn't completely stupid. They transported these things across space on a metal ship. The cages aboard the USCSS Maginot and in the Neverland lab had to be made of a specialized, non-metallic, acid-resistant polymer or ceramic composite. The door didn't break because of poor maintenance, it broke because Toodles, in his new synthetic body, didn't know his own strength and applied too much force. He accidentally broke the feeding mechanism, which was the one vulnerable part of the system. The Fly itself likely couldn't damage the main structure of its cell. It was a perfect prison for a very specific type of prisoner. It wasn't until a hybrid, a being made of the very material it hungers for, entered the cage voluntarily
that it had both the motivation and the opportunity to strike. It wasn't trying to escape, it was being served dinner. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about origins and theories. Where did this thing come from? The show hasn't explicitly given us an origin story, but we can make some incredibly educated guesses based on its biology and behavior. Theory 1. The ultimate bioweapon. Its metal-based diet is far too specific to be a natural evolutionary trait. This feels engineered. Think about it. In a universe where humanity relies increasingly on synthetic labor, androids, and advanced technology, what is the perfect weapon to dismantle an enemy? Not something that eats people, something that eats their ships, their weapons, their robots, and their infrastructure. The fly could be a genetically engineered organism designed for industrial or military sabotage. It could disable an entire capital ship from the inside out by consuming its wiring, its hull, and its synthetic crew without ever touching a human. This would make it the most valuable and terrifying asset in Weyland-Yutani's arsenal, which is why they were transporting it in such secrecy. Theory 2. A natural predator of a synthetic world. What if it is natural? What if it evolved on a world where the dominant life forms were not organic, but mechanical? Imagine a planet where a silicon-based ecosystem evolved with metallic life forms. The fly would be the perfect apex predator for that environment. Its discovery by Weyland-Yutani would be a catastrophe. They brought back a creature that sees our entire technological civilization as its all-you-can-eat buffet. Theory 3. Symbiosis with the T. Ocellus. This is the most chilling theory. The T. Ocellus, the eyeball alien, has been shown to be a strategic mastermind. In Episode 6, it directly orchestrated Tootle's death by distracting him at the perfect moment. What if these two species have a symbiotic relationship? The Ocellus is the brain, the intelligent, manipulative force that creates chaos and opportunity.
The fly is the brawn, the brutal, efficient tool that eliminates specific threats, i.e. synthetics, and paves the way for the Ocellus's broader plans. They're a tag team. One creates the opening, and the other melts through it. This brings us to its role in the finale. The lab is breached, the fly is loose, so what happens now? Its potential for destruction is limitless. It could disable security, eat through door controls, security systems, and communication arrays, plunging Neverland into lockdown and silence. Target the hybrids. It is their natural predator. They are no longer safe in their immortal bodies. Ground all transportation. What happens if it gets to the hangar? It could consume the electronics of every ship and escape vehicle, stranding everyone on the island with the monsters. Become a weapon. If either Weyland-Yutani or Prodigy could somehow control or direct it, it would be the ultimate leverage. The introduction of the fly is a masterstroke by Noah Hawley. It takes the familiar alien terror and rotates it 90 degrees. The fear isn't just about being killed, it's about being unmade. For a hybrid, being melted down and consumed is a total negation of their very existence. It's the ultimate violation in a show all about the violation of nature. It also perfectly exemplifies the show's core theme, corporate arrogance. Prodigy thought they could control everything. They thought their technology made them gods. But the fly is the proof that they never understood what they were playing with. They brought a creature into their house that doesn't want their lives. It wants their stuff. And in a world built on that stuff, that might be the most terrifying threat of all. So, the next time you watch Alien Earth and you see that hive in the background, remember, it's not just set dressing. It's a ticking time bomb, waiting for its moment to consume the world we've built, one metal bite at a time.